This is the eHealth Radio Network, your source for health advice on demand. And now your host, Eric Michaels.
Thanks for joining us once again here on the eHealth Radio Network. This is your host, Eric Michaels. eHealth Radio gives you the most current health information, news, and advice featuring some of the leading innovators in healthcare and wellness who are changing healthcare as we know it. For more eHealth Radio reports, we invite you to visit our main radio channel site at eHealthRadioNetwork.com. Today on the program, we're speaking with Jason Povio, the president and COO for Eagle Telemedicine. Eagle Telemedicine is a leader in technology-enabled inpatient care for sustainable healthcare resilience. And Mr. Povio, thanks for taking a moment to be with us here today on eHealth Radio.
Oh, you're welcome. I look forward to the conversation.
And I do as well, and looking forward to hearing all the details on Eagle Telemedicine and what it is that you do and offer. So for starters, what exactly is telemedicine and what healthcare challenges does it solve? I'm sure that would be a great place to kick things off today.
Yeah, great question. Get asked this a lot when I'm out and about. Telemedicine in general, it's a pretty large umbrella that encapsulates a wide variety of remote care delivery models. For us, it centers on the delivery of care through a virtual presence that's facilitated by technology. It's really that the technology enables a physician to care for a patient from a remote location, leveraging high quality video and audio devices in tandem with specific clinical periphery, like a stethoscope, for example. The challenges that it solves are many. I mean, telemedicine is really just one arrow of many in the quiver that really contribute to improving the healthcare delivery system. It supports access to critical specialty care in communities that have little to no access. It supports physician recruitment and retention through augmenting existing resources. So for those smaller community-based facilities, maybe they've got one or two specialists in a particular specialty, and for years they've been the hero. They're trying to manage an outpatient clinic. They're taking call from the hospital, and they're getting burnt out. We can come alongside them, support them, and really be a force amplifier in that particular specialty. To kind of support them and really mitigate that burnout. We can take the night and weekend calls and give that community-based physician a break. And we do so by integrating into their existing practice. So we really kind of come alongside them as a partner in their practice in the delivery of care. It can help with patient retention within the facility and community, which obviously has some upside revenue implications for facilities as well, with improving their overall community reputation and what they're delivering to the community. So there's a lot of different challenges that telemedicine can help to solve. Like everything else in medicine, I'm not sure there's a particular silver bullet. So it's kind of a combination of strategies, and telemedicine is one of the ones that's up there.
Well, I think it's awesome to have something like telemedicine in place. I can certainly see all the advantages of having that in place as well, and we'll be speaking about those as we go along here. Now, tell me also, what is the distinction between telemedicine and telehealth? You hear both terms. What's the difference between the two?
Another good question. Another question I get asked quite a bit. Telehealth is really the large umbrella, and telemedicine actually kind of sits within that or underneath sort of telehealth. Telehealth is very broad, and it includes non-clinical services or activities, like physician training or nurse training. And technically telehealth has been going on since, I think the 60s. They were doing like nursing in services and the like through remote learning. Telemedicine is far more specific. And so telemedicine is typically referenced or used as speaking to just the explicit delivery of clinical services remotely. What we do, so where we provide clinical services to hospitals or clinics, directly connecting a patient and a physician. That's really the essence of telemedicine.
And certainly appreciate your setting us straight in those regards. Now, also, what types of hospitals are using telemedicine today? Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So it's non-discriminatory, all types, and I do mean that. While it may seem a bit more intuitive that the smaller community-based hospitals are higher adopters or utilizers of telemedicine. Maybe we might think of that as just purely out of necessity. The reality is we're seeing needs in every hospital type across all landscapes, including larger academic medical centers. I mean, the circumstances certainly can differ, right? The needs or the drivers behind the need in each of these institutions can certainly differ. But at the end of the day, it's really about closing the gap on the access of care for patients and communities. So in a larger academic center or setting, it may be more about physician burnout and an augmentation of support. In a smaller community-based setting, it's really going to be about access to care. They don't have a cardiologist in town or a neurologist in town, and so the drivers do vary. But we are seeing a tremendous amount of need across every hospital type that's out there, nonprofit through our for-profits, large academic institutions, down to I mean, Eagle personally, we support hospitals as small as like 6 beds in very rural communities. So it just it varies.
Well, we certainly appreciate what you do on behalf of Eagle Telemedicine and really appreciate your visit with us here today. We're speaking with Jason Povio, the president and COO for Eagle Telemedicine, the leader in technology-enabled inpatient care for sustainable healthcare resilience, here on eHealth Radio's healthcare and telemedicine channels, a part of the eHealth Radio Network. Now, continuing on, Mr. Povio, how are patients benefiting from telemedicine? I'm sure off the top of my head, you can think of several, but take that further if you would.
Sure. And this is why I'm in healthcare, and it's why so many are in healthcare. It's a calling. There's intrinsic value that quote unquote fills our cup every day, and so I do what I do every day with a smile, knowing that we're impacting the lives of patients across the country. And telemedicine does benefit patients in so many different ways. In an acute setting, so like an emergency room, inpatient hospital, it's about like the timeliness of care, the ability to start treatment plans sooner. Patients who come into the emergency department of a community hospital that again may not have access to that particular specialty, we're able to beam on with that specialty and actually do a quality assessment of the patient and understand if they truly need to be sent to a higher level of care. Can they be managed locally? Start that treatment plan and really get them on the road to recovery much sooner. It also keeps a significant number of patients, their care close to home, which is a huge patient and family satisfier in reducing the stress and burden on loved ones for traveling long distances to see their loved ones in a care setting, receiving their treatment. From an outpatient perspective, it's really about supporting and driving that transition of care from the acute setting. So we're able to take patients as they're being discharged from that inpatient care setting and really support a care plan adherence to treat and control kind of chronic conditions, reduce readmission rates within the community. It's also a burden for patients who have to travel those long distances to seek that care. So you might be in a rural setting and need to drive 2 hours to the big city to see your infectious disease physician, as an example. And in that type of setup, there's really, and it's well documented, greater risk of not following through with care plans and being compliant with treatment plans and actually even following up with that physician. So a lot of good and great value to be generated for patients.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The benefits are endless. And again, thanks for covering that and give us some great feedback there on that. Lastly, why is telemedicine an attractive option for doctors, and how does a physician actually start a telemedicine practice? Get into that as we conclude today.
Sure. Flexibility and reach. I mean, I've kind of boiled it down to two words there. It's, telemedicine is not a replacement for on the ground care. And I know there's a lot of concern and anxiety amongst med staff across the country, but it's not. It's a validated strategy to add to one's portfolio for delivering care. Physicians practice medicine primarily due to it being a calling, kind of talked about that. And they have a desire to care for people and contribute to the greater good. And telemedicine really allows for them to expand on that. It allows for them to expand their reach, and care for more patients within their community and even beyond their community. So it really helps to kind of fill their cup, if you will. As for starting your own practice, that's not as a straightforward or a simple journey as you might think, but certainly something that can be accomplished. There's a lot of literature out there to consume that could guide one, consulting firms, etc. For me, I think it's really, take a step back. If I was a physician running a practice or part of a practice, and really decide how to utilize telemedicine within your practice. Why? What is the value that you're trying to create? Define what success would look like. Involve your staff. Your staff is going to be definitely and intimately involved in not only the delivery of that care, but also should be very much involved in the workflow and process design of how that's going to go. As with anything in healthcare, regulation, law, so familiarize yourself with telemedicine laws in your state. They are different from state to state, and with some very important nuances that's important to understand. You certainly want to find the right technology partner, because again, the physician leads, right? The physician leads, the nurse practitioner leads. It's the technology just enables that. So you definitely need to find the right technology partner that can come alongside you and develop a platform for you to be successful. Like any business venture, prepare for startup costs. There's a decent capital expense for a physician who's looking to maybe start this up in a practice from ground zero, and then just measure success consistently and continually. Continue to have feedback loops into your process and how well it's going, and identifying areas of opportunity to continue to expand your reach. So that would be Jason's kind of 2 cents on it. I'm sure others have other thoughts on it, but that's what I've got.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Mr. Povio, and coming from you, that is some sound advice. Thanks so much for, again, joining us here today on behalf of Eagle Telemedicine. And if listeners wanted to tap into this or to get further details, where's the best place to get more information on Eagle Telemedicine?
www.eagletelemedicine.com.
And there you have it, easy enough. And of course, we'll include that link within the show notes of this broadcast. Mr. Povio, all the best, and thanks so much again for joining us here today on eHealth Radio.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for having me.
And you're more than welcome anytime. We've been speaking with Mr. Jason Povio, the president and COO for Eagle Telemedicine, the leader in technology-enabled inpatient care for sustainable healthcare resilience. And for all the details, visit eagletelemedicine.com. And again, this has been your host, Eric Michaels, and we do thank you for your continued support of the eHealth Radio Network. Join us again soon for another episode that will help further expand your knowledge on those things that are important to your health and wellness. For more eHealth Radio reports, we invite you to visit our main radio channel site at eHealthRadioNetwork.com. And as always, we do thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in to the eHealth Radio Network. For more information or to subscribe to this podcast, visit eHealthRadioNetwork.com.